Alright, shalom, shalom. It's Brother Yatazadak here of Israel. Before I get started, I'd like to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Today we're going to go into Micah chapter 1, going into the Hebrew. So Lord willing, you're edified, giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Let's get right into it, right? So we're going into Micah chapter 1, right? Let's get a little bit of intro on what the name Micah means, right? So we can get a little background on the book of the prophet Micah, right? According to the history, right? See what that says. So let's get right into it. Micah. And the meaning behind the name, right, which is important, right, which is a representation of who you are, right. A name comes with a should have a force to it, should have a right a purpose, right, which is a Oriental custom, right. So the book of Micah, it's Micah. Let's see what that name means. Salakia. Which is who is like God, right? Which it doesn't actually mean that, because Maya meaning who, Ka meaning thus, right? So it would literally be translated as who is thus like God, right? Without that part, it just means who is thus, right? For example, the book of Joel says that who can but prophesy, right? In these latter days, right? The answer is the Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, which are the Israelites according to the Holy Bible, right? The inspired spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, Wawer Kakwadash, starting with our elders at Great Millstone, right? Starting with Elder Apostle Tahar and on down, right? So it means who thus, right? So it reads, Micah's messages were directed chiefly towards Jerusalem. It says he prophesied the future destruction of Jerusalem and Samaria, the destruction and then future restoration of the Judean state, and he rebuked the people of Judah for dishonesty and idolatry. It says Micah 5 and 2 is interpreted by Christians as a prophecy that Bethlehem, a small village just south of Jerusalem, would be the birthplace of the Messiah, right? That's going into chapter 5. Right, so let's get right into it, right? Micah chapter 1 verse 1 says the word of the Lord which came to pass unto Micah the Morashite in the days of Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, the kings of Judah, right? So it says the Bar Yahweh Ashar Haya al Mayakah Ha Marashtaya Ba Yamya Yatham Achaz Yachazakiah, right? Which is translated as Hezekiah, right? The Yah meaning he, Chazak means to be strengthened, right? Or to be encouraged in a sense. Yah is a shortened name for the Lord, right? Which his name is Yahweh, right? Yah is an acronym, right? In a sense, it's not the full name, right? Just like they call you got certain Jakes, right? They go by For example, a name which is also biblical. I think it's Jamel, right? Sometimes, Jake goes by J, right, or whatever the case may be, right? So it says the kings of Judah, which was a vision upon Samaria and Jerusalem. It says Ashar Chazah al Shamaran wa Yerushalayim, right? Chazah means vision, right? Don't confuse that with Hawa, right? Which means to declare, right? We can go into that real quick. Let's go to the Strong's Bible Hub Concordance, which is Hawa, which is also known as aka Eve, right, which means life giver, right? But you also have a or chaya, meaning to live, right, which is a derivative, right? Salakia. Then you have let's just look it up in the Google Translate, which is statement, announcement, right? Declaration, right? Salakia, Hawa isn't on there, right? Let's see if we can look it up in the let's go back here, which all right, we got Hawa, to tell, to declare. This is Strong's I believe that's 2331. To tell, to declare, right? But anyway, let's go back to Micah chapter 1, right? So this is a pronouncement by Micah, right, which was going on back then against northern and southern kingdom. But you'll find out that there's also prophecies that pertain to these latter days, right? So let's get that real quick. Just bear with me. Slack. Let's go back to the Wikipedia, right? Just bear with me. It says Micah was active in Judah from before the fall of Israel in 722 BC and experienced the devastation brought by Sennacherib's invasion of Judah in 701 BC, right? So it says Micah was from Moresheth, also called Moresheth Gath, a small town in southwest Judah. It says Micah lived in a rural area and often rebuked the corruption of city life in Israel and Judah. Right? So 722 BC. Right? Micah 1 and 2. Hear, O peoples, all of you. Hearken, O earth, and her fullness thereof. Right? Or and her fullness. Shemaywa Mayim Kalam Ha Kwashiabya Aratazah wa mala'ah, and it reads, and let the Lord be upon you unto a witness, the Lord from the temple of his holiness, which is why Yahaya Adanya Yahweh Bakam La'ad Adanya Mahayakal Kodashwa. Right, so that word Kwashab just means to hearken, right? Which is the message that we have in these latter days, right? Right, which means what, right? It means the Lord has spoken from his holy temple, right? Via his servants, right, the prophets, right, to hearken to the message that is being pushed out in these latter days, right? Which is what, right? The Lord is being a witness, right, via this word, right, which is compared unto that sharp sword, right? His holy temple is not just the temple in the heavens; it is his people, the remnant, right, of Yasha Allah, right, through the power of Spirit Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, right, Bashim Kodash, right. And there's other precepts that speaks about what the call of his temple, right. I believe that's in the book of Jeremiah, right. So this message is for all nations, right? Why? Because the remnant will be saved, right? Revelation chapter 11, which says what? To teach, measure the temple, the courtyard, measure it not, meaning do not teach the nations, right? The only thing they're going to hear is about the coming destruction, right? The things that are written, right? That will come to pass, right? The third woe, right? You have Jacob's trouble, right? And all these things, right? Woe, destruction, calamity, right? Micah chapter 1 and verse 3. Because behold, the Lord cometh out from his place, and he will come down and will tread upon the high places of the earth. Which reads, Kaya hana Yahweh, Yataza'ah, ma makwamwa, wa yarad, wa darak, al bamathia, ratazah. Right, the word darak means a way, but it also means to tread, right? Bamath is a high place, right? Which you would call like sort of a it's a way to say height, right? Micah chapter 1 and verse 4, right? So how is the Lord going to come from his place? Tread upon what? What are the high places of the earth? These various infrastructures, right? You have right, you have these Esau's libraries, his right, his where he stores his databases, right? The pride of his height are these various monuments, right, which are basically full of idolatrous images, right? Which I believe that's in the book of Micah, right? It describes America, Babylon the Great as the land of graven images, right? Let's see if we can get that real quick. Salakia. I believe that's either chapter 2 or 3. Slovakia. See if we can get that. Let's just type it in for time's sake. The land of graven images. Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 38. It says, a drought is upon her waters, and they shall be dried up. For it is a land of graven images, and they are mad upon their idols. Right, so this is how the Lord is going to tread upon the earth, right, via the chariots, Yahweh Shai, right, and his second coming, right, the ICBM missiles, right, all these things, right, which are prophesied, right, before the elect get delivered. Right, you got to have the charagma, right, Revelation 13:16, so on and so forth, right. So Micah chapter 1 and verse 3. So he's not gonna get off his throne and tread upon the earth. He's talking about the destruction, right? And it says, Micah 1 and 4, and will melt the mountains under him, and the valleys will be broken asunder like wax from before the fire, which will be like waters being turned back, and it's going down, right? Because that word marad meaning of, rad or yarad means to go down, right? To descend, right? So it says wana maswa ha haryam tachathiawa waha imakium yatha bakwai wa ka danag mapanya ash kamayum magarium bamarad, right? Now let's look at some of these words. Micah 1 and 4. Now what is that speaking of, right? It's talking about the mountains or these various governments, right? The valleys, right? Being broken asunder, right? For example, right, you have places like the modern day valley. Let's just get a picture of New York City. Right? This would be your modern day valley. These and the actual valleys themselves, but right in between these buildings, right, it looks like they're the modern day valleys, right? Which is why Psalms 1 and 10 says Yahweh Shai is going to return, right, to wound the head over many nations, right? You can precept that directly with Psalms 1 and 10, right? The valleys broken asunder, actual valleys, right? In the third woe, Armageddon, right? Bakwai meaning to break asunder, right? Danag, it means wax, like wax. Ka danag, right? And what the other apostles always bring out, you got that scene from Terminator 2, right? Where she's holding on to the fence and right, she just starts melting away, and this is in a vision that is, of course, and then, right, it gets gruesome after that, right? So it says, from before the fire, which will be like waters, right, cascading, right, meaning magarium, gar, the root word is sojourner, but it also means to turn back, right? So the fire will be like waters turning back, right? And it's going down, right? And Jake says that, right? That's a Jake term. It's going down by Marad, right? From before the fire, which will be like water, right? Cascading down the slope, right? Or turning back. Because what are you gonna see, right? You're gonna see, right, these various ICBM missiles, right? One is gonna go that way, one is gonna go this way, right? And you're just gonna see it, just gonna see the fiery smoke, right? And then it's gonna go to its target, descend, right? It's gonna right flow like water and hit its target, right? Micah 1:5, upon the transgression of Jacob is all this, right? So it's this is was going into the destruction, but verse 5 um is going into, right, how Israel went off, right? Because they received the law, statutes, commandments. They were put into the Holy Land, and then Jake went the hell off, northern and southern kingdom, started sacrificing idols, so on and so forth, right? Which is why it says, upon the transgression of Jacob is all this, and upon the sins of the house of Israel. Bapashai Yaikwab Kal Za'ath Waba Chata'ath Bayath Yasha'ala. Who has transgressed in Jacob, right? Has not Samaria, and to whom are the high places of Judah? Is it not unto Jerusalem? Maya Pasha Yaikwab Hala Shamarwan Wa Maya Bamath Yahawada Hala Yerushalayim. Because that's how Jake, right? That was their transgression, right? The various, the golden calf was the great transgression of the northern kingdom, right? And the high places of Judah, right, was their transgressions, right, which was in Jerusalem. Right, you have particular Judite kings that would erect pillars and plant groves right next to the temple of the Lord, right? Micah 1:6. Slack, spare with me. Slack here. So I'm going through a little cold, so you brothers can throw up a prayer for me. So the water, right? And Lord willing, right? I'll push through it and get back to back in the flow, right? In the meantime, right? You know, of course, we stay in the study, right? got Salakia. You know. But anyways, right? Not that right. That's a cop out, but you know, that's just that's just how it is sometimes, right? You're gonna right, Satan's gonna try to sift you out, right? Family might turn against you, and all these things are prophesied, right? But guess what? The Lord, right, through His mercies, which endureth forever, right? You might have your own scriptures say that, right? Maybe in the workplace, it could be anywhere, right? Scriptures say that, right? Those will be your foes will be your own kindred, right? Even like Yahweh right, spoke about right right you he said I came not to send peace but division, right? And this this is what the scriptures is about, right? Enduring endurance, right? Sometimes you gotta have that mindset, right, where like the elders recently said, right? Um, you gotta see that light at the end of the tunnel. But they said it, I believe, in one of the recent camps, right? They said right, you gotta prepare to go for this thing, right? Or right, um, or you gotta always be on go mode, right? Not being a flunky. Slakia, that's what I meant, right? But anyways, it says, and I will place the Samaria unto a sweeping away, like unto sweeping away the field. Wa Shamathia, Shamarad, La Ayah Hashada, right? Let's look at that word Ayah, which just means to sweep. Strong's H 5856, which is Ayah or Salakia. Aywa is root. It just means to overturn, to bend, to curve, to twist. Basically, to overturn, right? Which that root is Awa. So the Lord said, and I will turn Samaria unto like unto the overturning of a field, right? You have a budded field, right, which has bloomed and has become vast in its vegetation. Then an overturned field, right? For example, you get a basket, you overturn it, and you shake the contents out. Then it is desolate, right? Which is what the Lord did when He sent the northern kingdom into captivity, right? To the Syrian captivity, right? Which says, like unto a planting of a vineyard, right? Which is what He said He would do, right? And it came to pass, right? The northern kingdom was carried into captivity. He said, and I will turn Samaria unto the overturning of a field, like unto a planting of a vineyard, right? Because what do you do when you start planting a vineyard? You start all over, right? Which is what eventually happened, right? There was placed into that land, right? Today they call themselves Samaritans, right? But really they're heathens, right? Um, you might have like a few Jakes mingled in there, right? Like we say, Jake is scattered everywhere, but it's just a small remnant. The majority are here in America, Babylon the Great, right? And it says, and I will turn back onto her, Salakia. Let's look at that word. So there's that word gar again, right? And I will turn back unto the valleys, right? Her stones, right? Which reads, Wa Hagarathya Lagya Lagaya, because that word Gaya is the root, which means basically it's just let's look at that word. It's not actually a valley, right? Salakia. Says a gorge, right? Let's see if we can look up hill. Right, so it's basically something smaller than a valley, right? It's a lower valley, right? Or just basically that's what it is, right? Or you have Bakwai, right, which is sort of like a larger valley. I will turn, right, unto the valleys her stones, right? Wahagarathya Lagaya Abanya, at her foundation I will tumble. Wayasadya Agala Slaki, I will remove, because that's what Gala means, to remove. Right, because eventually I brought up in one of the videos that I made concerning the Northern Kingdom that eventually those high places which were defiled, right, which they were priests that were not of the lineage of Levi added there to make sacrifice to their idolatries, right? They eventually their bones will burn there to cleanse the land, right? And that's what the Lord did, right? Removed all that nonsense, right? Cast away the 8 lost tribes, the 8 tribes, right? Which is really 10, right? But Dan was diminished, right? They're not really a tribe, right? Salakia, and so on and so forth, right? Micah 1:7, and all her sculptured images will be crushed, and all her gifts shall be burned upon fire, which says, Wakal Pasiyalya Yakathawa Wakal Athanaya Yasharapwa Ba'ash, and all her idolatries I will place unto desolation, right? Wakal Itazabya Shayam, Shama, right? Itazab means to travail. It's just another way to call an idol, right? It says because her gifts of her fornications shall be gathered. Which says the word athan means a hire, right? You have the hire of a harlot because the root is nathan, meaning to give, right? Or meaning a, thun, or thana would mean the feminine form, meaning a hire, a gift, right? Higher price. In this case of a harlot, right? Which is why it says zana, it means harlot, but it also means to fornicate. So it says, because the hire of the harlot shall be gathered, and even the hire of the harlot shall be turned back unto her. Wa'ad athana zana yashawabwa. Why? Because, right, the hire of America Babylon the Great is essentially, right, the money system, right, which is going to be done away with, right, the trading is being done away with, right. We're living in a time of decadence, right. We're living in a time of closures, store closures. You got looting in various stores, right. You got the economy failing, right, which is all going to lead, right, to the time of Jacob's trouble, which is a time which has not been since the foundation of the world, right. Kwabataza meaning to gather, right, or heap up, right, and right, every kingdom has to fall, right. Every king that rises has to fall, except Yahweh Shai, right, because he already paid the price, right, to receive his inheritance. He already received it through the Spirit. Right now, it's just going to, right, the Lord is going to make it manifest, right? He's going to show his Son is being revealed now via his servants, the prophets, right? In these latter days, right? Like Apostle Ramlag recently said, that we are heralding, right, the coming of Yahweh Shai, right? Not you've been taught in church, you haven't been taught a damn thing, right? We're telling you, right, the things written, right, to come to pass, right? Thus saith, right, the Holy Bible, right? Micah 1 and 8. Salakia, just bear with me. Micah chapter 1 and verse 8. Upon this I will lament, and I will howl, and I will go as like unto a prey, which that word is shalal, right? Which like we read in the Wikipedia entry, that Micah went into captivity, right? Yahushai was born into the Roman kingdom, a slave, just like Jake, right? Just like right, all over again, right? Because scriptures say that nothing is new under the sun, right? Salakia. Let's get that Wikipedia. Which says he experienced the devastation brought by Sennacherib's invasion of Judah. Right? So he was there, right? When Judah fell, right? And he prophesied to the northern and southern kingdom, right? So this is what he was speaking about, right? Because of that reason, he was lamenting, he was howling, prophesying. He went and which is why I said I will go, right, as a prey, right, which reads Al Za'ath Asapad Sapada Wa'a Yala A Alaka Shalol. And naked, Salakia, and naked I will be made to lament like unto the jackals or hyenas. Wa Iram Wa Aisha, or Salakia, Wa Iram Aisha Masapad Ka Thanyum, and mourn Wa Abal like the ostriches. Ka Banath Ya Aina. Right, and we're in a sense, right, we're wailing, right, trying to get Jake's attention, right, we're downtrodden, right. Scriptures say that we're gonna hardly, barely make it, right. It's gonna Esau Edom, right. It's gonna wear out the saints, right, which we're not dismayed at that, right, right. We want the Lord, right. If it is His will, right, to take us out, right. But like Elder Apostle, or Salakia, like the Apostle Paul said, right, it is needless for me to remain instead of putting off this tabernacle, right? Because why? Because we got work to do, right? We're not in a time to be in a woe is me spirit, right? What if this? What if that? Right? Like the apostles recently said, right? You got to picture yourself, right? Um, right? Dying for this truth, right? Putting off this tabernacle if it's the Lord's will, right? You got to picture yourself, right, going and praising Yahweh Bashim Yahushua in the process, right? You got to picture like the apostles say. You got to picture you going, right? Which is an honorable way, right? Because we're doing the will of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, right? But we're not in that. We're not replaying that in our mind over and over again, right? We're trying to stay in, right, endure, right, stay in the Word, meditate on it, right? And when the Lord gives you that spark, right, you run, you go with it, right? Micah 1:9, which says, Salakia. Micah 1:9, because is weakened her wound, because she had entered even unto Judah, right? That's talking about the harlot, the great whore America Babylon Great. Anasha Kaya Anasha Maktaya Kaya Ba'a Ad Yahawada, right? Which is where you get the name for Enos, which means weakened, right? Because after the fall of Adam, right, you had right men. That was the fall, the start of the fall of men, right? The nations going off like they always have, and Jake being cast away, right? In order for what? For there to be a remnant always preserved, right? To to a set time, right? So it says, right? So that is that nation whose wound is incurable, right? Has reached to Judah, right? Because Jake had to go into captivity, right? The harlot entered, for example, into the tent of Judah, right? Which really Judah entered into the harlot's tent. Revelation chapter 12 says what? That you shall be nourished for time, and it divided into time, right? The woman was given wings like an eagle to flee into the wilderness. The wilderness was the interiors of West Africa and these various other parts of the earth where Jacob fled from Roman persecution. And her place is what? America Babylon Great, right? Which is why you read in what is that? I believe that's chapter 4. Or 5, Salakia. No, that's not it. Let's just look it up. Which says, I shall go into the field. Micah chapter 4 and verse 10. Salakia, that's not what I was looking for. Is that 4 and 10? Micah 4 and 10. Be in pain and labor to bring forth, O daughter of Zion, like a woman in travail. For now thou shalt go forth out of the city, and thou shalt dwell in the field, and thou shalt go even to Babylon. Right? Which gives you a perfect picture of what? The desolation of Jerusalem. Right? The field is the world. Right? Matthew chapter 13. Right? And then into Babylon. Right? Which really, right, Jake fled the desolation, right? They dwelt in the field, right? Which is right, these various parts of the earth, and they were taken into captivity and brought into Babylon, right? There thou shalt be delivered. There the Lord shall redeem thee from the hand of thine enemies, right? So this is the times that we're in, right? America, Babylon, Great weakened, right? The truth, right? Flourishing, right? It says in the Book of Psalms that what his own people would testify against him, right? You got Edomites, right, calling out the wickedness, right, of this great whore, right? Um, and it's wounded, right? The truth is wounded, right? The nations are in tumults, right? Esau Edom knows he has short time, right, to push his right, that thing, right? The M to the R, the charagma, right? It says because she has entered even unto Judah, right, to reach unto the gates of my people, even unto Jerusalem. Nagai ad Shayar Amya ad Yerushalayim, right? Because what Judah would wake up first, right? And then the rest of the tribes, the remnant, right? Micah 1 and 10, and Gath, do not reveal it. Uh, Surely thou shalt not weep in Beth Lapharah, which reads Bagath al Thagayadwa Bakwa al Thabakwa Babayath La Ipara, right? Which says, dust, uh, in dust thou shalt wallow. Ipar Hatha Palashya. The word Palash, right? The root word is, or a derivative is palat, meaning to slip away. Palash is meaning in the sense of to wallow, right? Let's get the definition for wallow. Which reads to roll about or lie relaxed in mud or water, especially to keep cool, to avoid biting insects or spread scent, to indulge in an unrestrained way in something that creates a pleasurable sensation, an act of wallowing, an area of mud or shallow water where mammals go to wallow, typically developing into a depression in the ground over long use. Right, so you got those that are, right, wallowing, right? They're not happy with what's going on, right? In and out the truth, right? You got Jake in the world, right? They know what the hell's going on, right? But they refuse to turn to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, right? But we are those that believe in the saving of the soul, right? It says in the book of St. Peter, Shalakia, just bear with me. So it says, Shalakia, Micah chapter 1 and verse 11 says, pass on, thou inhabitants of Shafir, right? These are all places in the land of Israel, right? Her city, or Salakia, her filth, which is in shame, which reads, Ibaria Lakam, Yashabath, Shapyar, Arya, Bashath, right? which really it just means Shapir, her city which is in shame, right? Because what Jerusalem is described as a comely and delicate woman, right? Which is really the nation of Israel, which is really this isn't necessarily talking about the landmass. It's talking about the nation and their works that they did while they were on that landmass, right? Which is us, right? We know that through the Spirit, right? The Spirit bear witness, right? Who can but prophesy, right? And that's pretty much it, right? We don't need no damn DNA, right? We don't need no, right? Because those things are false, right? You see videos of, right? Which recently I saw online. You got those DNA tests where you can track your heritage, allegedly, right? You can they got videos of, right, them putting it on their iguana. It's talking about your part Saharan, your part this and that, right? Nonsense, right? So it says, because that word Arya, right? Which just means her city, Bashath, meaning the shame. Thou shalt not go out, inhabitants of Zanan, La'a yataza'a, Yashabath taza'anan, right? Says there's lamentation in Beth Ezel, Masapad Bayath Ha'atazal, right? Take unto you your pillars, right? Yakwach Makam Aimadathwa, right? Which the Lord is basically saying, right? Let's start at verse 9, right? Because this is really talking about America, Babylon Great. It's talking about Israel in these latter days, right? But it's also talking about us going off back then, right? Which is why it transitions to what? Talinat and Gath, refrain from weeping, right? Strew dust over your head, right? Which is not what it's actually saying when you actually go into the definition of the words, right? Why? Because, right, the Lord always sent his servants, right, to warn the people, Even back then, Jeremiah, right, constantly in the book of Jeremiah you read, has not I said my servants day in and day out, crying unto thee, but thou did not listen. Instead, Jake rebelled more and more and more. The Lord is saying, right, stop telling them, just let them meet their fate, which the Lord is going to give a time in these latter days, right, when the famine of the word hits, right, the Lord is going to eventually say, right, okay, that's enough, right? He's going to take the prophets off the streets, right? Which is not now, right? We need more things still got to happen, right? The Lord is saying, do not weep, right? And Beth Leporeth, right? Wallow in the dust. The Lord is just saying, right? Jake is, because even in this captivity, Jake is just gone, right? And we don't lament for the 2/3, right? We're not gonna, right? If you don't get it, then you're not gonna get it, right? We're not gonna force it on. We're not gonna force you to believe. We're not going to, right? We did our job, right? We're not about gimmicks, right? Starting with our elders at Great Millstone, right? The most hated camp. Why? Because, right, we're giving it to you straight up, right? We're not gonna make a mockery, a show of the word of the Lord, right? Asking for boot kisses, right? Going up to Jake, cussing him out. The Lord is gonna kill you. No, that's not what the that's not what the scriptures say, right? That's nonsense, right? He said, "Call upon me in the day of trouble." He said, right? Uh, uh, know what is in right. Keep the sayings of this book, right? Because the time is at hand, right? The Lord's saying, keep your pillars, keep your idolatries, right? That's what we're telling 2/3, right? Because we can't force them into righteousness. They got to be destroyed. And that's fine because they're gonna be all right at the end of the day, right? In the kingdom, right? So it says, Micah 1:12. Because they hope unto good, the inhabitants of Marath, Kaya Hala La Tawab, Yashabath Marath, because that word Hala means not only means to be sick, but it also means to rub. That's the root. It means to rub or to hope. It's figuratively in a way to say to hope, right? Because that's what Jake has in this is the mindset that he has in this captivity, right? He hopes Esau keeps things going, right? Keeps printing more of that, right? That fiat currency, right? Um, right? Printer go brrr, right? Simple. That's Jake in his simplicity, right? But we know better, right? Because our Salaki, our eyes have been enlightened with this truth, right? We use the world, not abuse it. There's nothing wrong with right, doing what you got to do in the society, right? So it says, because there shall come down evil from the Lord to the gate of Jerusalem. Kaya Yorad Raya, Salaki Rai, which is really right, Ma'ath meaning from Yahweh, La Shayar Yerushalayim, right? Which is why the scriptures say this is not your rest, right? They waited on a nation that cannot save. That's in the book of Lamentations, right? Salakia, bear with. Right, so that's basically what it says. Micah 1:13. Tie the chariot unto the steed, inhabitants of Lachish. The beginning of the sin is she unto the house of Zion, to the daughter of Zion, because in thee is found the transgressions of Israel, right? Why? Because, right, Solomon's son, right, was enticed by his younger confidence, right? His the younger counselors, that the older men said what, right? Talk reasonably unto Israel, right? Right, which is I believe what Jeroboam, Salakia. Let's get that. Solomon's son. Rehoboam, Salakia, which is Rechabaim, right? Meaning uh, the, the people are spread out or made wide, right? Which at account, right? Find that in the Kings and Chronicles, right? Instead, he took the advice of his the young men, the young counselors, the ones he grew up with, the yes men, right? The older men said, reason with these people. Instead, he took, right? And that's when things fell apart, right? Instead, he took the younger counselors, right? Took their advice, and he said something to the effect that my pinky is thicker than the loins of my father. He chastised you with whips, I will chastise you with scorpions, right? Which is not something you say to a mob of people, right? That want you to treat them with some respect, right? Which is what the Southern Kingdom, right? Solomon, right? Yeah, there was prosperity, there was peace, but Solomon was, right? He ruled with an iron fist, right? Did he go off? No, right? Because at the end of the day, well, yeah, he did go off, right? But did he go off in it by his ruling? No, because there was peace during that time. But he ruled with an iron fist, right? So that wasn't necessarily going off because Israel, they asked for a king, right? The Lord said, okay, he's going to take your children and make them work the feet, making work to produce, right? For him in the fields and right, not like Esau did, right? But for the kingdom, right? He's going to take right your men, put them in his army, in his host, and so on and so forth. Something to that effect, right? So it says, Ratham, meaning not to tie, to the chariot unto the steed. Ratham ha Marakaba la Rakash, inhabitants of Lachish, Yashabath Lakyash. The beginning of the sin is she unto the daughter of Zion, Ra'ash Yath, Salakia. Ra'ash Yath Chata'ath Chaya, Labath Tazayawan, Kaya Baka Na Mataza'awa, Pashaya Yasha Allah, right? Basically, this goes back to the leadership, right? Which is Jake, right? Which is why Jake gets it the worst, right? Because they're the ones that said, right? The Roman Empire, they said concerning Yahushua, they said, let his blood be upon us and our children, right? They said, we have no king but Caesar, right? And even the Lord compelled, right, Pilates, right, to say, right, to on the behalf of Yahushua, right, to plead for him, Edomite, and then Jake still said, no, we'll take we'll take the um, we'll take the other guy, free the other guy, right? They condemn Yahushua, right? He said, we don't want Yahushua. Give us the murderer, right? Micah 1 and 14, for so I have given a sending out, or Salakia, for so gifts are sent out upon Morasheth Gath, Lakan, Tathanya, Shalahiam, Al Morashath, Gath, says the houses of Akzib unto Salakia. Let's go into the blue letter. It says the houses of Akzib shall be unto a lie unto the kings of Israel. Bathia Akaziab La Akazab La Malakia Yasha'Allah. Let's go into the commentary. Bible Hub commentary. Basically, it's talking about Judah, right? As it had tribes, right? Judah, Benjamin, Levi, right? Going the hell off, right? And eventually that going, right? Starting creating a domino effect, right? Which started at the northern kingdom and then the southern kingdom, right? Micah 1 and 15, even a possessor I will bring in unto thee to possess Marsheth, even until Adullam, right, shall enter the glory of Israel, right? Salakia. Let's get that in the blue letter. Which is that's talking about, right, Northern Kingdom returning back to their rightful land, right? And then the chapter ends with verse 16. Right, but 15 is talking about what? Salakia, 15 is basically, it's talking about the transplants that went into the Northern Kingdom's land, right? Which is why it says Ad Hai Yarash Abaya, meaning I will bring in. Baya'a, Bawa'a is a root, meaning to enter. Unto the Lakai Yashabath, inhabitants of Marashah, Ad Idalam, even unto Idulam, they shall enter Yaba'ah, unto the glory of Israel, Kabad Yasha'Allah, right? Which is, we got, the Mamzers down there right now, right? You got the Kufis, right? Micah 1 and 16, make bald and trim upon the children, right? Which are delicate unto thee. Korachia wagazia al banya ta'inag yaka, right? Which means ainag means delicate or right, effeminate, luxurious. Basically, it means to be soft, effeminate. In this case, delicate. Ha-Rahabya, Korathka and meaning in larger baldness, like the eagle, Kanashar, Kaya Galwa, because they are removed from the Mamka, which is what happened in other northern kingdom and then southern kingdom, right? When you trim when you make your head bald, that's a sign of mourning, right? The Lord weakened in the northern and southern kingdom, right? And larger baldness like the eagle, right? That has nothing to do with Esau Edom. That's just talking about Jake being brought low, right? Because they are removed from thee, right? Bashem Mashayag Yahushai, right? So with that, it's Micah chapter 1, going into the Hebrew. Uh, Lord willing, you're edified. It's Brother Yatazadak, hero Israel. And as always, giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Mekakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Kwam Yasha Allah, Abad Shalom.